In this tutorial, I'm going to walk you step by step through building a clean, high-converting opt-in funnel page right inside of She Has Clients. We'll take your lead form that you created, and we're going to go ahead and connect it to this beautiful landing page that you can use to collect leads immediately. I'm going to show you click by click on how you can actually design, edit, and even test your page. So let's go ahead and get started. On the left-hand side, we're just going to go ahead and click on Sites. Once you've clicked on Sites, we're going to click on Funnels. And once you click on Funnels, you're going to see this blue button here that says Plus New Funnel. Now you'll have three options. You can go ahead and create a funnel that's blank, meaning you're going to create every step of the funnel. You can use Funnel AI to create your funnel within seconds. And you can also use our template so that you can edit and curate your funnel based on a template. Let's go ahead and start with blank. We're going to go ahead and create your funnel. Just go ahead and add your funnel name. Let's call it Lead Magnet. And then we're going to click Create. It's important to note that your funnel can have many steps. We're going to add our first step, which is going to be our opt-in page. And you can also have a thank you page for this particular funnel. Now you can have a variety of steps, but here we're going to just have the 2 steps. So we're going to have our opt-in page, and we can go ahead and create our second step, which will be our thank you page. We're going to go ahead and create that funnel step as well. Now let's go ahead and click on the first step. Here, we actually don't have any information yet, so we're going to go ahead and edit that step, and we'll go ahead and build the funnel. So what you want to do is you want to click on the top left where it says Add Elements, and we're going to go ahead and add 1 row, and I just want to have a headline here. So I'm going to click that plus sign, and then once I have the row, I can select the element that I want to add. It could be a headline, it could be a paragraph, it could be images, forms, and so much more. In this case, let's go ahead and drag the headline here. So that's going to be the title of our funnel. And then you'll notice that we're going to stay within this particular headline. And I'm just going to add a subheadline by clicking the plus sign. And I'm going to stay within this column. I'll go ahead and drag the sub headline. So just underneath that headline is our sub headline. So you'll notice that when I hover here, I have the orange sections, and then I have this purple section, which is the column. So we have 1 column. And then we actually have the entire section, which is the green. So I'm going to add a new section by hovering down here and clicking the plus sign for the green to pop up. And this time I'm going to drag 2 columns. So you can see that I can add 2 different elements to this particular section. So the first thing I want to do is I want to add an image. You can just add a mockup. So let's click the plus add sign. We're just going to scroll down through the elements, and we're just going to go ahead and grab the image and drag and drop. So you'll see that it's going to put a generic image here, and to the right, your image menu will pop up. Now you have image action, so if you want your image to open up upon pop-up, if you want them to click the image and a website opens up, if you want them to download a file, if you want them to show your elements or scroll to an element, they can go to a specific step in the funnel, or next step, they can call, SMS, or email. So we're going to go ahead and just leave this blank. We don't want this photo to do any particular types of actions. It just represents our lead magnet. So you can go to ChatGPT and ask it to create a mockup for you. So we just said, make a beautiful, high-quality mockup of a free resource called Scale Your Coaching Business. I let it know that we'll use this mockup on our funnel for lead generation, and it must be professional and attractive. So this is what we've created. So we're just going to go ahead and just download that image. Okay, so now over to the right, you're going to see that you have image here. And when you expand this area, this is where you're going to want to click to upload your image. So you can upload that mockup into your media storage. We're going to double click on that, and now it's added that particular mockup. Now here, you can actually just embed the form directly on the site. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add text and a button. So let's go ahead and click Add. And in this case, I'm going to add a headline. Okay, then I'm going to click right below the headline, and I want to add a subheadline. And then I'm going to click below that, and I'm going to add a button. So we're just going to scroll down through the elements, and we're just going to grab the button. Now, if you can't find an element, you can also search here at the top, and then we see this button. And I'm just going to drag and drop that. So already we have a very nice looking form here, opt-in page for our funnel. So I'm going to click on the button. Now you have the menu to the right that's going to open up for the button. And we're just going to scroll down, and you'll see a variety of options. And then you also have styles. Okay, under styles, here's where you can actually get very creative with your border. Do you want it to be solid? And your radius, do you want it to be curved? I'm going to put 0, so then now my button's going to be square. And do you want your button to be left, centered, or right? We're going to leave it centered. Now, here's the padding. I'm going to go ahead and add 40, so you can see that made the button get larger, right? Or I can just go back to where we were at the 15. Now, right above here, the margin, I might want to add that spacing there. So I'm going to go ahead and put 40 there, and my button did drop below. So let's do 20 here. And to me, that looks pretty good. Okay, so once you've done that, you can go ahead and change the color of this button if you'd like. So we're just going to click on the button. And again, you can go back to general and you can play with the font, the different font options that we have, the size of the text on the button. You can change that. Let's go ahead and make it a little bigger. And you can change the color. So I do use a color picker tool that I've downloaded from the web. So I'm just going to grab that color and I'm going to go ahead and change that color. And you'll just go ahead and click add to put in your own custom color. And we'll go ahead and paste and we'll save that. So now our button is actually matching this book. Okay, so you can see that we've very quickly put together a landing page for people to opt into. Now, if you're struggling with copy, you can just head on over to ChatGPT to help you with copy. So I'm going to grab this copy for my headline here at the top of my funnel. I'm going to go ahead and change my headline. I want this to be a little bit bigger, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And over here, again, I can just adjust my font size. So we're just going to go up a little bit and make our font a little bit bigger. Okay, so whatever size you like. And then we're going to go ahead and grab a sub headline and we'll go ahead and paste that here as well. And maybe you might want to make this bold. So I'll double click that and you can see a menu pops up just below and you can change the header, right? We're going to leave it to heading 2. I'm going to make that bold or you can make it non-bold. And then again to the right, maybe we want to make this text a little bit larger. So we can do that as well. Just play around with the sizing. So now that we've done that, I do want to show you that you can change your fonts. Just double click here and we do have this headline font. I'm going to go ahead and click on right under typography. I'm going to click on custom font and that's set to default. I'm going to change that and then you'll see a list of options here and just select the text that you want, the font type that you want. I'm going to go ahead and change that. Okay, I'm going to also do the same here. I'm going to go to custom font, default, and I will select the font that I want my funnel to have. So you can go ahead and continue to design that. Now, maybe at the bottom of your page, you might want to add something else. So let's go ahead and click on this section where the green button is. And I'm going to clear my quick add. So we'll click on add elements. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and drag that new section there. And in this case, you can add anything you want to add. If you want to add more text, maybe you want to add testimonials, you have a logo showcase that you can add. You have an image slider that you can have. Maybe you want to put a video there. I'm going to go ahead and put a calendar where they can book a call. So you can go ahead and select the calendar that you want to embed right inside of your funnel, and you'll see that they can also book a call here. Now, ideally, this will probably be more beneficial on the thank you page, but feel free to design your landing page any way you wish. So we're going to go ahead and hit save so that we don't lose our work. And now we've pretty much built out this opt-in page. So now we're going to just go ahead. You can either go back out of the funnel or you can click here in the middle where it says opt-in and just navigate over to the thank you page. And then you can begin designing your thank you page. Now, I'm going to go ahead and head out of here. A couple things that I want to note is under settings, you're going to want to select a domain to attach to your funnel. So you're going to want to go ahead and select the domain that you've already integrated into your system, and you can go ahead and save that. The other thing I want to show you is once you've done that, you can go back to steps on the left-hand side, and for publishing, what do you want your URL to be? So if I were to give this URL to someone, it would say starcod.com/opt-in, or maybe I want to say a lead magnet, and you could name that step whatever you wish. Here we have a step URL that says thank you. When we click on publishing, it says thank you. So do make sure that you update the links, the step URL for each step, so that when someone goes there, you need to track it. You can easily see what that is. All right, so we're going to get out of this funnel. We're going to click on our new funnel, and we're going to go into templates and hit continue. So you'll see here that we have a variety of templates, and let's click on business coaching and consulting. So we are looking for something that we can use as an opt-in page or some sort of a lead magnet. And this one looks pretty good. You can preview these to see if it's something that you want to work with. Obviously, you can change your colors, you can change what it says, and so much more. So they're offering something for free here. So let's go ahead and use this template. We're going to go ahead and select it. Okay, so now that it's added the template, it's going to go ahead and open up. And you can see that we already have our funnel design. So you can just pick any template you like and just start adjusting colors. So for example, if I click on this section here, you can see that I have the background color as this cream, and you can click to change that to any color that you want. I'm going to leave the colors alone now that you know how to do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this button because it's very important that we focus on your form. So when you click on the button, it's going to give you some button action. So first of all, you can play with the design of it, the font type that's on there, all of the typography, the font size, and so forth. Now, what we want to focus on is the button actions. So let's click on button actions and expand. So this means that it's going to open a pop-up, but we could also say that we wanted to do other things like open up a URL, download a file. So if this was our thank you page, you can have a button that says, here's your free resource, click below, they click the button, and the file will automatically open. You can also ask it to go to the next step if they click that button. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and have it open up the pop-up. Now at the top, you want to go ahead and hover over to pop-up settings right here at the top. And we're going to go ahead and edit that pop-up. And so we already have an image here in this template, so you can change this picture to whatever you like. And we're going to go ahead and select the form. So we created a form already, and we're going to go ahead and select that form called lead magnet. And it's going to import the form that we've already created automatically. Okay, so that's all you do if you want your button to go to a pop-up and the form to be directly on that pop-up. Okay, now I'm going to show you down below how to do that again. So if you click on Explore Us, this button, but we're going to scroll all the way down to Actions, it's going to open up your pop-up, okay? So that's all we want it to do. Now, in the event that you did not want to use a button, you could also just completely delete this information here, and we can just embed the form directly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover where this text is, and I'm going to click this plus sign. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for form, and we're just going to drag and drop our form there. So you can just go ahead and see all of the elements that you can choose from. And we're just going to go ahead and look for form. We're going to grab and drop that form. So now you'll go ahead and select the form, and we're going to select the form that we created in our previous training, lead magnet. And your form is automatically embedded on the page. Now, this is a really long form. So for purposes of what we're working on, we just need a form that's going to ask for the name and email. So that's all you'd need to really do in that case. So let me go ahead and choose a short form just for purposes of visualization of what this could look like. I'm going to grab that form, and then I'm going to go ahead and put demo booking form, for example. If you just want to have the form directly on your opt-in page for your lead magnet, you can do that as well. Now, you can have some information at the bottom if you want to have a footer so that it doesn't look bad, so you can edit this information. And anything you don't need in the template, you can just hover over that section and just delete that. If you're not a local small business, you wouldn't need that information, right? Maybe you want to display some testimonials, so you can leave that. You can edit that here. You can add an image. If you have frequently asked questions, you can leave that here. Again, you can delete this if you don't want this here. And in fact, I'm going to delete this entire section. So that's all you have to do. We're just going to go back out of this funnel. Before you go out, always click on save. And if you have a domain connected, then you'll publish it. If not, it's going to ask you to connect your domain. You're going to go ahead and select connect domain. You'll select the domain you want to connect, and then you'll publish that information. Okay, so let's go ahead and preview this funnel. And so all you want to do is just go ahead and test the funnel to make sure it's working. I'm going to go ahead and type in my information and hit submit. Now that we've done that, we're going to leave outside of this funnel. On the left-hand side, we're going to go ahead and click on contacts, and you'll see that contact name was added right here. So that's one way of checking. The other thing that you can do is you can go back to sites, and then you want to go to forms, and you want to go to submissions, and then you can see that we did get that form submission right here. So that's a great way for you to check those forms if they came in or not. And as you know, yesterday when we built out the original form, there is a bell notification icon that you can turn on. So you'll also get an email for that. And on our next training, we're going to build out the actual automation. And that's where we'll be able to test to make sure that the emails were sent out. Now we're going to go ahead and use AI to build our funnel for the third way to set up your funnel. We're going to go ahead and we're just doing a simple lead generation funnel. So we're going to go ahead and click on build with AI. And there'll be two ways that you can actually build with AI. One is to use assist, and the other way is to click on build. When you click on build, you just want to get a very detailed description of what you wanted to build. But let's go through assist. So here we're going to name your funnel page. Let's call it Scale Your Coaching Business Opt-in. And then you're going to select your business niche. We're going to do coaching and consulting. And then what is the goal of this funnel? What do you want to do? Generate leads, book appointments, sell products, course signups, sell memberships, webinar, and so much more. Let's go ahead and say generate leads. That is the actual type of funnel that we want to build. And then who do you want to target? Is it individuals and consumers, small businesses, enterprises, students, professionals, parents and families, and other? So we're going to go ahead and select individual consumers. And what are we offering? So are you offering a free consultation, a discount, a free trial? So if you're like a local business and you need people coming in, then you may go ahead and give them a discount or a service, maybe on their dental services, or if you're a hairstylist or you own a salon or a med spa. In our case, we're going to go ahead and do ebook and guide because that's what we're doing. And then you can click on generate or customize. So for customize here, you can just select the language as well as the tone. Friendly, you can also do luxury premium, minimalist and clean, bold and high energy, storytelling emotional, fun and playful. Let's try storytelling emotional and let's generate that. So here you can see create a landing page, okay, with scale your business, opt-in in the coaching and consulting niche. The goal is to generate leads. And if you want to add anything else to that, you can. Let's go ahead and click on generate. Okay, so you do want to give it a couple of minutes to generate your funnel page. And you'll see on the left that it's going to map out what it wants to do. It's going to have a to-do list here, and it's analyzing the different sections that it wants to place within the funnel. And it's actually evaluating the context for your audience as well. And it's considering all possible layouts. It's deciding on the layouts and sections for the overall style. Now it's generating SEO titles and descriptions, which we want. And it's going to draft the text for each section in a clear and customer-focused language. And then it's going to design visuals and images. Now keep in mind, once it completes the design of this particular funnel, you can still ask it to make changes, or you can go in yourself and directly make changes to the color, the images, the copy, anything that it comes out with. All right. So we have a very quick funnel here, transform your coaching journey. And remember, we talked about that form and put the form spot. All we have to do is click, select your form, and we're going to go ahead and put a form in there. It has an image. It talks about the struggles that your client may be facing, the path to success, and why they need this guide, any success stories. And again, you're going to come in here and just edit your testimonials. And you can also add your form here again. We're going to go ahead and add that there. So if they missed it, they can just come down here and select that. And you can also just go ahead and use a button with the pop-up if you want, and you can edit that and make that change as I showed you how to do before. But I think it did a really fantastic job of just really creating this funnel. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to let it know that we tend to like light pastel colors. Can you update the design to include lighter colors? And let's see what it comes up with. I could have told it pink or anything like that, but I want to see what it comes up with on its own. So we'll run that and we'll let it build. So just give it a couple of seconds, give it a few minutes to process. Okay, so it's asking if you want to go ahead and update the colors. It's given us a few options to choose from: soft sky, mint lilac, peach, and aqua. So if you already have your branding colors, you would just tell it these are the colors that I want to use. And let's go with option number 2. It'll also ask you like if you agree with the updates or the recommendations, or it'll give you a list to choose from on different things. In this case, we're looking at the colors. So we'll go ahead and wait for that to build out. So you'll start to see that it'll start fading out, and that means that it's currently working on updating those changes in regards to our response. You'll see that it's definitely made those updates for us using that mint and that lavender design. So I'm going to go ahead and just close that out so you can see what we have here. And it's also included some pastel yellow, which is exactly what I asked it to do. So for example, if it didn't do something you wanted, I would just come in here and just make sure that I change this color to match what the other colors are looking like on the page for consistency purposes. So you can just go ahead and do that, and you can upload the image that you want to have here. It could be a picture of you, or it could be a picture of your actual lead magnet. Now remember, we can import the form just by clicking here and selecting that form. But I wanted to just show you really quickly that you could also just have a button here, just like we did before, if you prefer that particular type of an option. And we're just going to go ahead and drag that button right here. And you can see that when I try to put it here, it just moved it out the way. So I'm going to delete this section because it will try to create a section for you if you need it. And then you can delete this particular box here, and you can focus on clicking on the box to the right, changing the color of your box, and anything else that you need to make changes on here on your funnel. You can go ahead and do that. So this came out pretty nice, and it just created everything for me. So that's what you can do, is use our AI to do that. Now, if you want to go ahead and create another page, we're just going to go back out of this funnel because we do want it to have a thank you page for them to land on. And with the AI, you'll have to use the AI for each page. So I'm going to add one more step, and I'm going to say thank you page. And we'll go ahead and create that funnel step. And then you can just go ahead and click on edit, and you can manually create the thank you page, or you can just go ahead and click on build. And we're going to go ahead and tell what we want it to do. After someone opts in, we want them taken to a thank you page. So I'm going to say, please create the thank you page for our free resource on scaling your coaching business. And we'll go ahead and send that. And let's just see what it comes up with on its own. That's another way that you can use the Ask AI feature, is by clicking on build, telling it what you want it to do, and just letting it directly build that out. All right, so that was pretty quick. It just said you're in. Thank you for joining our coaching growth community. Your free resource on scaling your coaching business is on its way to your inbox. I really love what this came up with. It understood exactly what I wanted to do. Although it wasn't on point with brand, I didn't give it any directions on color. I could just come under this photo, right? And I could just add a button right here under this photo. And that button could say, join our free community. And then you would just scroll down, and what do you want this to do? We want it to go to our website URL, and you can put a link to either a form to opt into your community or a link to your community, because in your workflow, you can actually tell it to add them to your free community or your paid community, whatever you want to add them to, that you're hosting on She Has Clients or on Go High Level. So that's what you can do there. And then obviously you can just update the color of your button to match whatever you're doing in terms of branding. So, yeah, that's it. We've built out a full funnel manually. We've used a template to build out a funnel, and we've also used AI to build your funnel. So you go ahead and select the option that feels best to you. Check out our templates. We have some beautiful, amazing templates as well. And feel free to go ahead and get started building your actual funnel. In our next training, we're going to go over the automation. Now that we've created a funnel to attach the form to, next steps is the automation that'll deliver the actual lead magnet or resource for your potential leads. Thank you. I'll see you on the next training. Don't forget to grab your trial of She Has Clients. Head on over to shehasclients.com and start your 14-day trial for just $1 so that you can start building out your systems and automations today. If you're interested in having your own agency and selling high level to your clients, then feel free to go ahead and scroll down to the very bottom of our website and you'll see that option there. All you want to do is just go ahead and click on Start Your Own Agency, and you can go ahead and become a partner of high level and start selling this SaaS software. If you want to be a referral for our software, She Has Clients, and you love it, you can earn a generous 40% commission. Just click Become an Affiliate. And if you're already a high level member and you're on the 97 plan or the 297 plan, you can upgrade to the 297 or up to the 497 by clicking this Upgrade to SaaS link. Go ahead and get started.